Hey guys, it's Aman
And Christina
from Our Rich Journey. On today's video, we are gonna get real about the FIRE movement. We have been making some observations over the past couple of years, and we have some thoughts to share with you today. Because if you know our story, you know that Christina and I retired before the age of 40, and we are in fact FIRE. And we share a lot of our journey on this YouTube channel, but we haven't shared our thoughts on the overall movement. And so on today's video, we are going to get into the nitty-gritty, and we might hurt some feelings in this conversation. But we think by the end of it, your perspective on the FIRE movement will change.
So if you're new to our channel is all about making money, saving money, and investing money on the road to financial independence. Aman and I were on the road to financial independence for 8 years. We quit our federal government jobs and we retired here in Portugal. So we have been retired for a little more than 1 year, and we have seen all of these different articles and videos, so many things about FIRE, but we have been living the FIRE lifestyle. So we think we have great insight into the FIRE movement. And so in this video, what we really want to focus on are some of the things that people get wrong about the FIRE movement.
So the first thing, and this is a big one, is that most people really don't understand how people that are FIRE live off of their investments. I mean, if you go out right now and you survey some regular people, you say to them, how much money do you need to quit your job right now and never work again? Most people would say 5, 10, $15 million in order to do this. That's because most people have never really thought about what it takes to retire early and live off of their investments. They don't know about the 4% rule. They don't know about all of the ways that your income is treated differently when you're living off of your investments. The tax benefits when you are FIRE are amazing. You have a lot more control. And so there are so many things about your investment portfolio when you're FIRE that most people have no idea about. And this, we think, is the biggest misconception about the FIRE movement, is that people that are FIRE, they understand how the stock market or how their other investments really support them in early retirement. They don't need millions of dollars to retire. They just need the right portfolio for their situation.
Now, Aman is mentioning the everyday person, but this applies to financial gurus, it applies to financial advisors. A lot of people, even at that higher level, still don't understand the mechanics of withdrawing your money in early retirement. So it's a huge misconception that you need millions upon millions upon millions of dollars to FIRE.
The next thing that people have wrong about the FIRE movement is that the FIRE movement is some new fad. I mean, saying that financial independence is new is like saying investments are new. People have been investing and living off of their investments since they began. In fact, there have been people that have made investments early in their lives and have been able to live off of those investments for the rest of their lives. The problem is, in the past, when you encountered these people, they didn't say they were FIRE. They just said they lived off of their investments. And this is kind of a challenge that me and Christina have as well. When we tell people that we are financially independent and we retired early, and they know nothing about the FIRE movement, it's hard for them to grasp. But as we start to explain that we live off of our investments, the first thing they say, oh, so you're an investor. Well, I guess we are. But the idea that FIRE is brand new, the term may be brand new, but this idea of financial independence and living off of your investments for the rest of your life has been around forever.
Now, the next misconception about FIRE is that people that are pursuing or that have achieved FIRE are living incredibly frugal lives that they are not enjoying. And that is not the case.
No, that isn't the case, because this idea of deprivation, from taking the joys out of life in order to pursue this, you could not consistently do this for a long enough amount of time to achieve FIRE. Look at our situation. We achieved FIRE in 8 years, but some people are taking 10, 15, 20 years on this journey towards FIRE. Could you imagine people depriving themselves of the joys of life to get to FIRE? It just isn't sustainable.
On our journey to financial independence, we wanted to make sure that our journey was fun. So we wanted to make sure that we weren't depriving ourselves of the things that we found fun. We traveled the world during our FIRE journey. We went to sporting events, and yes, we even ate out. We did all of these things. We didn't live that frugal lifestyle, and yet at the same time, after 8 years, we were able to achieve financial independence and retire early.
And we were able to do this, like so many other people that are in the FIRE movement, because we reprioritized our lives. And the major shift was shifting away from the materialistic things. We did not drive a brand new car or live in a house that was so big that we weren't using some of the rooms in it. We were minimalists. We were efficient in how we spent our money. A lot of people in the FIRE movement will say that they were intentional. And when you are intentional on this journey, you intentionally put your money where you get the biggest bang for it. And so investing in the stock market, in real estate, and carving off money for things that make your journey fun and exciting is something that people in the FIRE movement often do.
And the next misconception about FIRE is that it takes money to make money. And what I mean by this is that people, when they think about people that can reach financial independence and retire early, those type of people have to already be millionaires. They have to have this income where they're making 6 figures or more in order to reach FIRE, and that is not the case. Because if you research FIRE and you understand the FIRE rules and how much money you need to amass in order to reach FIRE, it's all unique to each person. It's based off of your expenses. And if it's based off of your expenses, if you make, for example, $50,000 a year, your expenses are likely less than someone that makes $500,000 a year. So your number to reach financial independence is going to be lower. So you don't necessarily have to be this wealthy billionaire, millionaire in order to reach financial independence.
And this is a big point that people often overlook. It's not about making more money, it's about saving more money. It's about using the money that you are already making and putting that money to work. So figuring out ways to live a more intentional life and save the money that you have. Because if you can increase your savings rate, you can achieve FIRE. I mean, look at the traditional retiree. They save 5% of their income in order to retire at age 62, 65, 70. But if you can increase your savings rate from 5% to 10% to 20% to 50%, you can see how you can retire early.
And the next misconception about FIRE is that people that are pursuing FIRE are too passionate about it and they are pushing that FIRE concept on everyone they know. Now, this is coming from us who has created a YouTube channel about FIRE. And I will tell you, just from our experience alone, when we talk to people about FIRE, people have to be ready to embrace the concept of FIRE. You can't push FIRE on someone. They have to be ready to understand the concepts. They have to be ready to invest. They have to be ready to look at their finances and budget appropriately. So there's no way that people can push FIRE on people that aren't interested in it or that aren't ready for it.
And Christina is exactly right. You cannot push FIRE on someone that is not ready. This is the reason why we call our channel Our Rich Journey, because it is our experience. And if for some reason our journey resonates with you, then you can create your own FIRE journey. And that's why we created this channel. For people that are interested in our journey, they can join the journey. And people that aren't ready for it yet, maybe they'll come along eventually and maybe they won't. But FIRE isn't for everyone. And it's not for us to tell you that you should do it. We think it's a good idea, and we think that when you do it, your life will be much better than what it is today. But it's always up to you.
The next misconception is that the FIRE movement is very small and the people that fit within that movement are a very specific type of person, and that could not be further from the truth. So many people contact us about their own unique FIRE journey. People that have different professions, different backgrounds, ethnicities, religions, The FIRE movement, you cannot pigeonhole one type of person into that movement. It is open to everyone, and it is worldwide, and it is growing.
And we recently realized the FIRE movement is a lot bigger than we thought when we are starting to get recognized on the street and people are asking us about FIRE. We live in Portugal and people here are talking about FIRE. So it is a worldwide phenomenon. I remember we were in Lisbon one day and someone came up to us and this guy said, I am in the military and I live in Germany and I have been following your channel since you guys had 10,000 subscribers. We have over 300,000 subscribers right now and it is amazing how this movement is growing.
And the reason why we really wanted to talk about this misconception is because we want you to know wherever you are, wherever you fit into this piece in the FIRE movement, this FIRE movement also belongs to you and you can also be a part of it.
And the last point, and this is not a misconception, but is more of an editorial. What we want to do is we want to see people talk about financial independence in a more common way. For so long, we have been talking about some of the more, what we think are the basics of personal finance, about good credit and about debt freedom. Well, we need to start introducing financial independence into the conversation. And you don't have to talk about retiring early, but imagine if it was more common to talk about achieving financial independence as it was to talk about maintaining a good credit score or debt freedom. Imagine where we could be as a society. And so this is one of the things that we love about this movement because it has extended the conversation. And so it is out there in the world for people to latch onto. It can make their lives much better.
So those are our thoughts on the FIRE movement. We would love to hear your thoughts. We'd love to hear about your journey on the FIRE movement. Leave a comment below. And of course, if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and join the journey.